Hello and welcome to week 2 of 123stitch.com Spring Stitch Along. I hope you like green because that is all we are stitching this week. Avocado, yay! Quick recap, last week we did the pink border all the way around, the word spring here, this yellow butterfly, and this little tree. This week, the reason we are stitching with so much green is because we are doing all this grass. Last week I mentioned a couple different ways to store your threads. I'm a visual person, so I brought some of the stuff that we have so you can see exactly what I was talking about. Now for me, just a quick reminder thing, I do like to keep my threads on the original tags that they come on. I just put the piece that I've already taken threads out of on this loop, and then I'll use something like a ring, like this DMC ring here, and just attach them all on there. And it's pretty easy to just hang it somewhere, right? Another option is these Floss-A-Way bags. Oh, crinkly. They are, what is it called? Acid free. So they won't damage your threads for long-term storage. You can put it in boxes, put it in whatever filing you want to use. They're pretty easy. There's also a little field on here that you can write on with a Sharpie for what color it is. There's also plastic and cardboard bobbins, just in case you like those. And then we have thread drops. We have a few different versions of these. They come in little different shapes, different designs. These ones come with a ring, and then you just hang your thread off of the large loop on there, kind of similar to how I have the, like this. There's a few different options for you. There's so many different ways. Honestly, we could do a whole other video on that, so maybe we'll do that in the future. And that is that. Let's grab our avocado thread, or maybe an actual avocado if you want a snack, and let's get stitching. I decided to keep stitching the way I always stitch. I thought about railroading it, but then I'm like, all right, I don't want to be like, okay, how many was that? I mean, I'm still gonna have to count, which maybe I should have been doing this whole time. At least right now it's only 4. I don't know where I'm going with these threads, I'm just kind of stitching the outline. That's the fun thing about stitching. You can do whatever you want. Now, I think I mentioned variegation a little bit in the last video last week. I don't like strong variegation as much in my pieces. So I do choose to loop start my threads. That way it looks a little more blended. You can do that if you want. If you prefer to see more variegation, you can pull 2 threads off of the skein. And you can stitch one by one, as I'm doing now, like one complete X. If you do want your threads a little more blended, you can railroad your stitches. It's totally up to you. The different way you stitch will change the look of the finished product. You don't have to stitch the same direction I'm stitching either, because honestly, I'm just going for it, But you can, if you want to do complete row by row, you can do that. You can, whatever suits your fancy. That's the cool thing about variegation, though, is that with every skein being unique and the way everyone stitches being unique, is everyone's finished piece is going to look different. Just in case anyone was wondering, this doesn't count as going outside and touching grass. Can I separate this correctly this time, please? Yes! Woo! Nailed it. Sit up straight. Posture check. Just stitch my hair in there. There we go. If it's not my hair, it's my dog's hair. Sometimes I'll do like one stitch at a time, and then other times I'll well, I gotta go over here now, so I'm just gonna railroad and then come back, and then as long as your legs are all going the same direction, that's what matters. Look at that. Can't even tell. maybe later. But right now, nah. Stitching this feels like watching grass grow. Alright, now that I've been staring at this grass for a moment, I'm going to go outside and touch real grass, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay. Let's see, where was I? Just got a few more rows left of this. This grass has used almost an entire skein. Pretty crazy. Stitch by stitch. Or should I just railroad the rest of it? Alright, I'm just going to continue along the bottom of this gap here. If I can find the hole. And then this space here is where the stitched cabbage would go if you're not going to be using the button. And now I did notice that if you take a look at the size of the button, and they all may vary a little bit since these are handmade buttons, but, oops, this is a little smaller than that hole there. So we'll probably go back in and add some stitches so it'll look completely filled in there. Put that out of the way. Somewhere where I won't lose it. Because I want to end my stitches in a certain spot so I can show a tool, I think I'm going to railroad this next part. Okay, before I show y'all the reveal, I want to show y'all this little tool that we have. It's called the Star De-Tailor. It's this little threader. It has a little wire, a little shiny star at the top of it, super cute, and comes with little instructions as well on how to tuck your tails. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Hopefully I can finagle this under here with the Q-snap. So basically what you're gonna do is slide this end underneath a few of your stitches. I'm gonna have to bring this closer to my face real quick so I can see. You just give me a moment. So you're gonna slide it through the stitches like so. I'm just gonna leave this super long just so you can all see. You're gonna tuck that through there. Now you can, if I would have left this on the needle, that probably would have been a little easier. I know what I'm doing, y'all. Now if you don't have it on your needle, that's fine too. Alright, so you're gonna leave a little bit of a tail, or a little bit of a loop, like that. If you do pull this all the way through and you try and pull this, it's gonna really tighten up your stitches and it may actually break your thread, so be careful with that. Let me just pull that back out a little bit. And you may not need that much, it's just so y'all can see it. And then you're just gonna pull through like that. Now I have a little bit of an extra tail, so I'm gonna pull that through. A lot of an extra tail. Boop. And then you take this off. And then I'm going to cut off the end of my tail. And here we are. The variegation in there is nice and soft, so there's not too much contrast. It kind of actually does look like grass. Not too bad, not too bad. So now you can see the kind of silhouettes of where we're going to be stitching the two flowers. Here's the path from the house. These are carrots, and then we'll be, back stitching the leafy greens. And then again, the cabbage will go here, but because the button is a little smaller, we'll be stitching a few extra stitches around there. Yeah, this was definitely a lot of stitches this time. I did have to give myself some eye breaks because staring at one color for so long was making me go a little cross-eyed. If it takes you a couple times, if you need to run into next week or if you can do it all in one sitting, we're all about doing whatever it is you want to do. Well, that's all the stitching I have for you guys this week. Be sure to share your progress with us using hashtag 123SpringSal2024. Until next week, happy stitching!